are strong, y'all are powerful, and you are all united regardless of what shade of skin and where you come from. Right now is the time to spread awareness. I'm gonna need y'all to repeat after me. We are the change, ain't playing no games.
We are the change, ain't playing no games.
I said we are the change, I ain't playing no games.
We are the change, ain't playing no games.
Fight for the truth, unite, yes we do.
Fight for the truth, unite, yes we do.
I said fight for the truth, unite, yes we do.
Fight for the truth, unite, yes we do.
You say their names, and you say their names with power. You remember that people died to be where we are at this exact moment, to stand next to every single person that you stand next to. And you take none of that for granted. You spread endless love, you spread endless positivity, but we're not letting this rock no more. Period. Everybody, I want to put a big thanks to everybody that was involved in this and that made this work. I want to thank everybody who was courageous enough to support me in something that was just a tiny idea inside my mind. And y'all all made it important enough to yourself. And all of you are a part of this. I want to introduce somebody, the youngest member of my family in the black community of Plainfield. I want you to introduce yourself, okay?
Giovanni!
How old are you?
10.
What are you going to do to change the world?
Take it one step at a time.
And that's what you do. And that's what the youth does. And that's what youth does. So, I'm going to keep saying it. I don't know about y'all. Actually, I want you to say something. I think I want you to change. I want you to say, fight for the truth.
Keep those fists up, y'all. Keep those fists up.
Fight for the truth! Unite, yes we do!
Fight for the truth, unite, yes we do.
Fight for the truth! Unite, yes we do!
Fight for the truth, unite, yes we do.
Fight for the truth! Unite, yes we do!
Fight for the truth, unite, yes we do.
Fight for the truth!
Unite, yes we do. And we still the change, and we still not playing no games. So let's go. Come on now. Come on now. Come on now. All right, we back on three, y'all. On three. 1, 2, 3. We are the change. We ain't playing no games.
We are the change, we ain't playing no
I
games.
said we are the change. We ain't playing no games.
We are the change, we ain't playing no games.
We are the change. We ain't playing no games.
We are the change, we ain't playing no games.
I said we are the change. We ain't playing no games. Fist up in the sky, and you say your names. Fist up till we die. We don't play no games. And put your fist up. It's no justice. It's no peace. No. It's no justice. It's no release. I need you to feel everything that you say. I need you to understand that people died. Your privilege was built on pain. And that's no longer being overlooked. I need you all to understand how blessed you are to be able to be here right now, to be able to understand the struggles you go through, understand what you know is right or wrong, what you want for yourself, what you don't want for yourself, and never take that for granted, because nothing, we are entitled to nothing. Everything that we are here, we are doing is given to us. We can wake up tomorrow, we cannot wake up tomorrow. Our lives can be completely different in the snap of a finger. I need all of you to appreciate what you have for yourselves right now, the smallest things. I need you to understand that love is what powers everything in this world. Y'all could say it's money. Money was a physical object that was given to harness power, to enable others more and disable others less. I need you to understand that before all of this, there was a unity between the world. Y'all can't let this society, this capitalist society, the hatred that's flooding this world, the ignorance, y'all can't let that get the best of you, because we are the future. They can say anything they want to say, but you know what? It's going to be us that's living that life. It's going to be us going through what we're going through. And honestly, it should be us that has a say in the life that we live. It's up to nobody else other than us to make that change. So stop waiting. Like, that's really it. I'm just gonna, like, I appreciate everybody for being here. Right now, what we're going to do is we're gonna take a knee, a 9-minute knee. Moving forward, I actually want to introduce and thank everybody who cooperated with me through this. I want to thank the town of South Plainfield. I want to thank the South Plainfield Police Department for helping me and allowing me to express myself and involve anybody who also felt the need to express themselves. I want to thank everyone that's sitting and also gave respect. I want to thank Mayor Ines for standing in solidarity with us on the sidelines. I want to thank everybody who is genuine and who has real intentions involving the pain of people. Right now we're going to continue to march. We're going to march up to Veterans Park. I've set up, with the help of with the help and support of people, I've also set up a small tent with, there's snacks, there's drinks, go replenish, refresh yourselves. Get situated. In about 10 minutes after that, we will be having some speakers, some very special speakers. So that's what we're doing now. But with your hands up though. But with your arms up. That is the truth. I need you guys to feel that good energy though. I need y'all to feel that love though. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Hey, come on now. Hey. Our fight for change has continued to be met with centuries of discrimination affecting the prosperity of black people and black communities. Centuries of being targeted by the law. Centuries of our voices being silenced. And centuries of continuous bloodshed dealt by those sworn to protect and serve. Respect the black woman. The woman most constantly desired but never loved all the way through. The most disrespected woman by even the black community itself. Yet at the forefront of this movement fighting for our rights, our lives. You scream Black Lives Matters, but your voice means nothing till you also scream Black women's lives matters. Black LGBTQ lives matters. Black trans lives matter. Not being racist is not enough anymore. Saying you have black friends is not enough anymore. I speak today because your silence alone speaks volumes. We're all human beings living and breathing, and we will no longer ask any of you for respect. We will demand respect. On this day, you will not tell us you tolerate us. On this day, you will not tell us you accept us. That is no longer your right. On this day, we take that away from you. And on this day, you will respect us for who we are. Remember, life is not about who you once were. It's about who you are now and who you have the potential to be. So, be the brilliance, be the unity, and be the love that you see the world so desperately needs. We are Gen Z, and we are the future. So what are you waiting for? Cairo.
This is really important to me. So I'm so grateful that Jay asked me to come out and speak to y'all. So I want y'all to vibe with me, but I'm here to like speak my truth because I'm angry and shit. And I wrote my speech in the form of 2 letters. The first one is going to be addressed to Black people, and the second one is going to be addressed to white people or white allies. And since it's Juneteenth, it's only right to start with Black people. So, dearest Black people, you are so damn beautiful. I am in constant awe of you and all your brilliance, your resilience, your activism. Your voice is heard and affirmed and appreciated here. You are worthy. You are deserving of all things, especially life. You deserve to breathe, my loves. The time for radical change has come. No longer can we sit complacent as precious Black lives continue to be taken with disregard. I am hurting. I am tired. I cry almost every night. My phone has become a digital cemetery for my sisters and brothers and non-binary folks whose lives were taken brutally, too soon, too fast. I cry for all of them. But my Black trans folks in particular, and my Black cis sisters in particular, who lead these movements for justice, for all Black lives, just to be silenced while alive and forgotten when they're dead, I cry for them until I can cry no more, and then I go numb. And the cycle continues. Anger, sadness, numbness, anger, sadness, numbness, y'all feel me? Despite all the heartbreak, we still dance, we still laugh, because this spirit of ours ain't easily broken. To all my Black folks, it's okay if you're not okay. It's okay if you don't understand how you're feeling right now. It's okay to tell people to stop asking you that question. I hope you breathe today, and tomorrow, and the next day, and forever. I hope you dance today. I hope you sing today. I hope you eat today. I hope you laugh today. I hope you make love to yourself or another today. Self-care is also a revolutionary act. We often forget that capitalism thrives off of our labor. Resting is a radical act of resistance too. You deserve to rest and simply be your precious Black self. This is a marathon. We cannot afford to sprint the whole way. We must pace ourselves, supporting one another along the way. Please connect with your community right now, because that's where we build the strongest foundations for movements. Let's decolonize our minds and divest from the individualist narrative promoted by this capitalist society. Strong communities create revolutionary and lasting impact. Think Seneca Village before it was turned into Central Park. Think Tulsa before this fascist government burnt it to the ground. The imagination is a powerful thing. That is something we must never let them take from us. The ability to imagine a world where all Black people are safe and thriving. A world where the most marginalized are free is a world where all people are free. I'll say it again. A world where the most marginalized are free, aka Black trans women. Sorry to burst your bubble, but it's not Black cishet men that are the most marginalized. A world where Black trans people are free is a world where everyone is free. I need y'all to remember that there's room for everyone at the new table that will be built because the old one was built with a limited number of seats. And the time for Black and Indigenous folks to reclaim and decolonize this place is long overdue. Thank you to my Black folks out there protesting, sharing resources, providing food and supplies, organizing, making and sharing art, documenting, healing, and telling our stories. I see you. You are appreciated. I love you so very much. With all my heart, may we continue to call upon our ancestors for guidance and recognize when we need rest, so we're fueled and ready to continuously rise to action. Your sister in the fight for justice, Amivi. And now for our white allies that have gathered here today. Dear white people, specifically self-proclaimed white allies, don't try to excuse yourself from being held accountable. Don't try to convince me or other Black people that you are not like the others. White people saying, oh, but I'm not racist is not enough. I saw a tweet last week that said, treat racism like COVID-19. Assume you have it. And ain't that some simile? Racism is a disease. And even if you don't think you have it, your grandpa probably does, or your aunt, or your mom, or your friend, or your neighbor. Hey, if the shoe fits, you better make like Cinderella and wear it. This ain't a fairy tale though. This is real fucking life. Black people are being murdered in the very country they built for free. So African Americans have every right to set this country on fire. All this property that was built by their ancestors, and they don't even own it. Don't even have access to entry, and some are being surveilled when shopping for deodorant. Before you ever fix your mouth to say, why can't they be peaceful? Violence isn't the answer. I want you to remember, America didn't gain independence from Britain through peaceful tactics. Go back and read about Boston Tea Party. Count how many battles it took during the Revolutionary War before independence was finally declared for white people in America. Juneteenth is about independence for Black Americans. 450 years later, and it's still not a nationally 150 years later, and it's still not a nationally recognized holiday. Y'all are not as progressive as you'd like to think, and I'm here to let you know what's up. Y'all like to forget that African Americans are Americans. So before you fix your mouth to tell Black people that were born in this country and whose ancestors were probably here before yours go back to where you came from, I want you to remember, this is not your land. You are the immigrant. Unless you are Native American, you are an immigrant. There's a reason why your town looks the way that it does. White suburbia is the result of 400 plus years of slavery, looting, aka museums and gentrification, rioting, aka Tulsa and Seneca Village, and redlining, aka white flight and segregation by geography. If you don't know what any of these words mean, you've got some homework to do. Lucky for you, Google is free and readily accessible. It is a privilege for you to only have to talk about racism and not actually have to experience it in your day-to-day life. Stop asking Black people to educate you, especially if you're not going to pay them for their emotional labor. If you think that sounds ridiculous, that speaks to the value that America places on education. But that's a conversation for another day. I'd like to end this letter with a call to action for white people. Do better, show up for Black people, listen more, do your homework. Being able to quote MLK isn't good enough. Read Angela Davis, Asata, Toni Morrison, James Baldwin, Malcolm X, Alice Walker, Audre Lorde, Erica Hart, Rachel Cargill. Consume Black literature the same way you consume Black music and be so antsy to say the N-word. Get antsy about dismantling racism and white supremacy instead. You cannot give yourself the title of an ally, you have to earn it. And last but not least, open your wallets. Thoughts and prayers are in bringing back our dead ancestors. Invest in the livelihood of Black futures while we're alive. Support Black businesses. Include a donation sector in your budget dedicated to grassroots Black organizations. Do your homework on that too. And if you're not exhausted while doing this work, you're not doing it right. Welcome to our world.
I realize that as a non-Black ally, Like much of our South Plainfield community, it is the job of me and people like me to address racism in this town and the general entirety of the country. The best thing we can do is give the Black community a space to carry out their thoughts and fight for what they believe in. But thinking rationally, the Black community did not create racism. We cannot expect them to stand alone and try to eradicate years and years of oppression that we are responsible for. I want to make very clear that I do not stand up here as someone who claims to understand what the Black community is facing, but rather as a non-Black minority who wants to address the topic of privilege in every other community and how we should be utilizing it better. The first step to utilizing this privilege correctly is to understand that as a non-Black person, you hold this privilege. Although I'm still a minority, I practice privileges that the Black community cannot. I know that many of us think different things when we think of racism, as all minorities have experienced it. I came on here to say that the Black Lives Matter movement is a whole other side that none of us can and will understand unless we are Black. This is not a trend, it is not your 5 seconds, and it is not your chance to be relatable to a community who has struggled with not only blatant racism, abuse, microaggression, as well as lack of representation. These are all issues that people face solely for the color of their skin, and with the pandemic locking us down, it's important to remember that this is not new information. This has been going on endlessly, and it's hard to annihilate these social issues without understanding what you can do as an ally to the Black community. If we have contributed to systematic racism and racist behaviors, we must own up to it by being sincere and helping to do everything that can physically be done. If we want unity, we cannot be biased and we cannot make exceptions. It is important to understand that the reason we have gotten this far is due to a personal bias. People believing that their friends and families are exceptions to contributing to racism is an issue. When you hear your friends and family use racial derogatory terms, it is your job to be the educator. If you do not understand the struggles of the Black community, it is your job to not try to relate to that culture, but to respect it from your place. I will never be afraid of getting pulled over for anything more than a ticket. This is not the time to applaud good people for doing their jobs. It is a time to expose patterns in systematic racism where our sworn protectors are allowing murder. Once you understand the privileges you have just by the color of your skin, you can utilize this privilege for good. It's time to stop considering the people around you as the ones who can say things when no one is around. It is time to stop using dark humor as an excuse to let out closeted racist idealistics. The internalized hatred that comes out for the Black community when you tell a joke, when you turn your face at racism, or when you are attempting at a relatable comment is completely inappropriate because we will never be able to relate. If you have the honor of finally waking up to these issues, nothing is greater than people educating themselves. But more than posting about it, the best thing you can do is try to educate those around you and not incorporate yourself in people who exhibit racist undertones by using language and quote-unquote humor that disrespects the Black community. If you are not Black, if you are not oppressed for being Black, if you cannot say that you fear for your life because of the color of your skin, you cannot stand with the Black community as if you will ever experience that pain. But you can help by standing beside them and pushing for political reform. Plant these seeds in our society today in order for generations to reap the benefits of this revolution. This town is notorious for turning their cheek at blatant racism and not considering racial slurs with oppressive background an issue, but will call standing up for yourself bullying. Do not just support Black Lives Matter verbally and not push for any changes in the political climate that these people are facing, because it takes more than an opinion to overturn a system that has dug itself multiple ways to put the Black community at a disadvantage. To address everything completely, I want to put an emphasis on the fact that we cannot simply stand when we see others stand, but we have to fight these injustices as we see them head on. Do not be scared to use your voice and don't wait for others to stand up with you. It's important that we slowly tear apart the system we are living in and rebuild, because the system we reside in today has made it clear that Black lives have never been a priority in this country. To compare our struggles to this is embarrassing, and the only way we can stop is if we take part in self-confrontation and self-reflection. Just because we did not create our own privilege does not mean under any circumstance that we do not reap the benefits of the privileges we were born with by simply not being Black. It makes me happy to see that so many people are playing active roles in fighting back for the Black community, bearing in mind that all other communities have always mattered more to America. How can we enjoy the fruits of labor from a community that have made this country for everyone to reap benefits except themselves? These people are listening to a society that is out to get them, listening even when they are afraid and unsure of what will happen next. They're doing nothing to deserve what they're facing, and all the names of those you have been hearing in the news were innocent people who were killed without ever having the opportunity to fight back or go on trial. If we are to be concerned with law breaking, we should consider how unconstitutional this all is in the first place. My entire point goes to say that we are pointing fingers everywhere for what is happening around us and what has been happening for decades, until we point that finger at ourselves as non-black allies for letting this go. It is no longer affordable to let this go. It never was, and the decision of our community to put everything, even wealth, over the morality of our decisions is inhumane. It is our duty to fight for injustices, even if they don't affect people like us directly. I cannot make anyone understand why it is so important to care for one another as human beings, but I hope we can all understand that we're trying to take down a structurally racist society that has been going on for hundreds of years. We will not exterminate these issues soon, but we can never allow ourselves to turn a blind eye at these issues again. We have to move forward consistently, educate others like us, and stand by each other as humans. I hope we can all protect human lives and kill the ego inside of us, trying to tell us that what is happening around us isn't our fault. Donate, sign petitions, but most importantly, always speak up so that these racial ideals do not carry into future generations.
It's not easy to persuade someone to be different and be better and be greater than themselves. I just want to applaud all of you for having the courage to stand before your peers and speak and say your truth and what you believe in. So thank you for even inspiring me to be here. I will tell you, and I'm going to be honest, public speaking, I want to do it, but it's really scary. So bear with me and work with something.
It's a safe space. It's a safe space. I appreciate that. No, that's right.
Can everybody hear me? All right, okay. Let me just start out by saying that we are all here for a greater good, and we are all here for greatness. And if you don't believe that you're here for greatness, then you're in the right place, so that you can understand just how great you truly are. Because it takes greatness to come together like this and understand that when there is an injustice for one, that there is an injustice for all. I'd like to thank the South Plainfield community and all the participants for taking the time to support this demonstration, which is here to further perpetuate a call to action for unity, harmony, inclusion, and justice for all. A lot of people today are commencing to engage in Juneteenth celebrations around the nation, but we must stay the course of committing ourselves to diversity and inclusion, which are imperative to promoting greater opportunities, not for one, but for all of us. In this moment, we are all recognized as champions of change and hope. For all of you who are participating, please just know that you are encouraging this South Plainfield graduate to do something that looks beyond just himself. So I look at this as this is just the beginning for him. When my son asked me to speak, my mind immediately was like, no, because public speaking is very scary. But at the same time, it started crafting and drafting a speech in my head as far as what I was already going to say, even though I was like, no, I'm going to be afraid. But how could I not speak up and out about something that impacts the inside of my house? It resonates so strongly for me with my own fear of my children's lives being at stake on a daily basis, knowing that they need to be kind of trained how to handle themselves when they engage authority or when authority engages them. To know that this is for no other reason than the color of their skin, it's so disheartening. To know that we are still in an age that it's an atrocity that even today, with all the advancements that we've made, that we're still judging each other on the color of our skin and not the content of our character. How is that possible? So I ask, when is enough enough? When do we let those old, outdated, hated ideologies die and make way for true liberty and justice for all? Why is positive reform to the racial divide such a long and turbulent road to overcome? Why is it not at the top of change that needs to come for the betterment of humanity? Why is it still allowed to hold human life in such disdain? When we moved to South Plainfield, with the mindset that we would be coming to a place where we could build a foundation for our blended family, And I'm not sure how many of you have a blended family or come from a blended family. But for me, when I say blended family, I mean my family is way different. So you got upstate New York, you got downstate NYC, you got different backgrounds, cultures, experiences, and that makes up our values and our beliefs. And we came to South Plainfield so that our blended family could begin a foundation of security and unity. And I'd like to believe that we are on the right track. And I bring up blended families because just like our blended family, this country needs to realize and understand that it too is a blended family. A blended family of different backgrounds, cultures, experiences, ideas, perspectives, beliefs, and values. And just like our blended family, we get angry. And it's okay to be angry, but we don't stop loving. Don't be angry and stop loving. Love is the key. I will always believe that love is the key. Sadly though, it seems like we are so disconnected from each other that we have forgotten how to love. We need to remember that we are all a blended family, and that as a blended family, we will get angry. But when we get angry, we need to step back, then come forward to remember how we impact one another and the love that we can share between each other, which it can help move us forward and can bring progress. This has the ability to allow us to push that reset button when times are tough and when there's conflict, and make an effort to approach the situation with an open heart and an open mind. I ask you all to look inside yourself to find out what type of world do you want for your children and your grandchildren. Honestly, the fact that you're all here, you let me know what type of world you want for your children and your grandchildren and your great-great-grandchildren. So I know that you don't want a world of rioting, retaliation, and fear, but a just world of harmony and unity and order. What we need in our nation and across the globe, which is actually what's happening right now with the protests that are going on, we need more open communication, where we actually are listening to one another with an open heart and an open mind, so that we can make that change, which is so close. But we need more love, because without it, I don't believe that we can move into that next phase that we're looking for. With love, for me, anything is possible. So I call upon you to let love begin and to let it lead the way. Thank you.
Wow. I want to. I'm so proud of everybody. I'm so proud of myself. I'm so proud of everyone's intentions, and I'm thankful, so thankful for all of y'all's support. People that I have never met in my life are right here in front of me. And I can genuinely say that I have a respect and a love for every single one of you. And that will not change. And this fight is not over until Black Lives Matter, no lives matter. I'm sorry. This fight is not over. I love you all, and we need to spread that love.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting everybody that are colored. I love all of you.